All right, yeah, let's go.
Moe's
They
turning
got busy in
into
this
a
one too.
zombie right in front of your eyes. You heard those coughs.
Oh, that's what you're doing? Like, what the hell? This thing? Yo, they got busy in this one. Zombies, um, zombies. This is a
Marvel
lot of blood.
zombies.
A lot of blood. Shit was dope. I ain't gonna front. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, y'all? What's up?
What's up,
Back with
y'all?
another one. It's y'all favorite. If we not y'all favorite, we should be your favorite.
Why are we not? Why you don't like us?
Fuck you. Now let me stop. Um, what's this? Episode 29, y'all. Marvel Zombies. Let's go. NEO non-expert opinion. Blak and Cinco. We back with another one, y'all.
What up, peeps?
Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies.
We are back with another
Drop it.
one.
Y'all probably already seen Marvel Zombies. I literally just finished Marvel Zombies. I say like an hour from this recording. You know what I mean? So I already know y'all already seen it. My opinion is fresh, so fresh. Cinco always keep his opinion fresh. He be watching the shit like 8 times. How many times you seen this shit? I'm
I
pretty. How many
was
times?
literally in my second watch, like as I was like getting all
Oh,
the stuff
really?
set up. So I got like to like the beginning of the fourth episode, and then like you text me, and I was like, ah, fuck it, here we go. Eh,
Bet,
I
bet.
want to know
So
what I
yeah,
want to know a little something that I'm talking about because I'm not an expert, so I got to be at least knowing what's in front of me.
I'm experts here. Y'all watching the non-experts. We are experts at being non-experts. Remember that.
Yeah, but
So let's go though. Let's give the people our opinion on Marvel Zombies. I'm gonna start off by saying this shit is fire.
this
This
shit
shit
was
was
good as
fire.
fuck.
All right.
This shit was a
Do you know
good
right?
ass continuation off of the Marvel What If episode. Great continuation.
Do you know the writer of the Marvel Zombies or anybody like that?
Like
No. All right. Well, listen. Shout
some
out.
dude
Shout
named
out.
Zeb
Listen.
Wells is like the producer. I don't know if he's the director of it.
Shout out to the writer.
And Kevin
All
Feige and
right.
the rest of Marvel. Shout out to y'all.
Writing this, whoever wrote this, like put this together. Like I know it's based on the comic Marvel Zombies, right? So, but they we got
But it's
some
their different story of it.
insertion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and we got some MCU insertions of it. So whoever combined that right there, shout out to y'all. It was definitely great. I don't know. You want to go episode
I
by
think this
episode?
was dope though, just because you can see the parallels to like actual Marvel events still, as if it's like a what ifs in a sense. Um,
All right. So in that sense, let's set it up. I think it is based before um Infinity War. Infinity War doesn't happen actually because Thanos is a zombie. So it really happens around, if you remember in the What If episode, the part 2 when what's her name? Jan Van Dyne comes back with the zombie. And so it's based on that. Like what is that? Ant-Man 2, right?
well,
Right? Wouldn't it be around that time? Ant-Man 2 would be right in because that's the it's like but instead of that story, she comes back with
but
the
that's
zombie.
literally around the same time as the whole thing was starting with Thanos and all that stuff. Because
Yeah,
remember,
but yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, but we don't get the Infinity War in this one because Thanos is
you
a
kind
zombie.
of do though. Like you get that's what I'm saying. You kind of get those moments still playing out
That was
in their
a
own
reference. That
way.
was a reference to it. It was a reference to it. It was a reference to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
these
You're right.
moments were still playing out in their own way, but it's a zombie apocalypse instead of just Thanos trying to take over the world. Well, not take over the world, but help the universe and all that, as he says. Where it's more about Wanda being the villain, but there's all these other things that go on at the same time. Because the fight at Wakanda still happens. Like Thor still does the whole throwing it at his chest and not his head thing. So like a lot of these
Yeah,
events still play out. They're just playing out in a zombie apocalypse where the big bad is this infection and whatever Wanda's trying to
yeah. They dropped a bunch of those references in there. That I think that was the dope part. That was a dope part in it. My favorite part in it, I would say real quick, I'm gonna say would be when Blade versus Ghost.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my God, that
because as soon as you said my favorite part, I was like, ooh, that's probably my favorite part
yo, that fight. But
right
listen, that fight was crazy. But my favorite character actually was what's the nigga name?
there.
Is dead
Alexi,
something?
please
No,
don't be
no,
Alexi.
no,
Don't be
no,
Alexi.
no. Death dealer,
Oh,
death
Death
dealer.
Dealer
Off
was your
to
favorite
Death
character.
dealer was going the fuck off, bro. He was
Death
going the
Dealer
fuck
was
off.
going to fuck off, but he wasn't my favorite character, not by far.
That was my favorite character.
Um,
You got a favorite character? Who's your favorite character?
so I'll go with a different favorite moment. The moment when they showed up at Asgard and Blade Knight walks up to Valkyrie. He's like, "You don't recognize me?" He basically like, and then Khonshu pops out and she starts having a whole conversation with Khonshu and shit like that. Khonshu basically hits her with the what? Why my money ain't no good in the hood, bro? Like, is that what you telling me, my nigga? Like, I ain't been around in a minute and you forgot who I am, type shit. Like,
Open up. Like, what up?
but let me think. Favorite character in this? Try not to take a long time and be quick. Who was around the longest, really? I guess it would be Blade Knight, honestly. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with. Honestly, I'm gonna give it Thor. I'm gonna give it to Thor. Fuck that. I'm gonna give
But
it to
no,
my
this
favorite
Thor, this
MCU
Ursula
character.
Thor was dope. And it was cool because I was kind of like thrown off a little bit because okay, he made the mistake, hit him in the chest with the blade, boom. But then we see that zombie. They even said that Thanos zombie was learning. You feel what I'm saying? He was learning, so he was like, oh, he ain't go for the head, boom, time to kill him. Got rid of Rocket, boom, disintegrated.
No, he
His fucking
disintegrated him and
disintegration was
Groot.
dope. Yeah, and Groot, but his disintegration was dope because it looked like Guardian of the Galaxy's one when they was all grabbed the stone at the end, the purple when it was in the purple mist.
Yeah.
So that was kind of dope. I think that was like a reference to that. And then when I saw Thor get blasted, but Thor is like a god. He's not supposed to die. So like it
Well,
was
I
like to
knew he
see him
wasn't dead
sitting
when
with
I
his
saw that.
face. Why, he wasn't there? Yeah, I
Yeah.
was wondering. I was like, duh. But then when I seen him with the face burnt off, that was like, oh, that's dope. They still had it. It was crazy because he still had the little eye patch on the little burnt part. I was like, wow.
I
But to
mean,
see him like that, the zombie was fire too, dude. See him as a zombie was cool too, yeah.
but yeah, I think from here we can just go on episode by episode, and we can just talk about them little 30, 40 minutes at a time. But obviously, we're not going to talk 30, 40 minutes at a time per episode. But yeah. So I mean, I'll open it up with a. So we start off with a very like typical zombies, like maybe Walking Dead type of scene, where forest zombie walking through the forest, arrow hits it in the head, and you get our introduction to or I'll say original cast. Let's not say main characters. Our original cast of characters. We start off with Kate Bishop, Riri Williams, and Kamala Khan, and the Iron Man suit from the original What Ifs episode. Just is now a drone, an AI drone.
No, with a teddy bear head.
Yeah, they're basically just in survival mode, just scrounging around the city, looking for whatever can help and maybe stop some zombies. And a Quinjet drops in front of them, so they go to check it out because they know there's supplies up there. There's gonna be something up there. And in the midst of that, our first big bad zombie pops up, and it's good old Hawkeye from the What If series. And he comes back and he's shooting arrows at people already. And him and his protege, who I seen a video and they made a good point that at this point, Kate Bishop has not even met Hawkeye yet. Like they're not acquainted with each other. She just ends up being her own Hawkeye on her own. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
without
yeah.
the details of without the details of the Hawkeye show happening. So they get in their little duel and whatnot, and they kind of have to just escape because I don't know. I don't know why they just didn't fight to the death, but good thing they didn't, I guess, right? Just move on. But they get away, and Kate Bishop gets herself a trick arrow, and she's really geeked about this shit because Hawkeye be having some cool ass arrows, right? Like, so understandable. But they, in the midst of like checking out this Quinjet, they noticed this dude has something in his stomach who was flying it, and they reached in there because he's dead, he's zombified, so it's easier to get in there. And they retrieve it, and it ends up being some kind of transmitter to communicate with people outer space, kind of like what Nick Fury has for Captain Marvel. So they're now on the travel to try to find their way somewhere where they can get this working so they can communicate with whoever is on the other end and hopefully save the planet from this infection that's going around. So they get on the road and they end up coming across a desolate area, like a desert area. And at first they see a big ass crater. And I don't know if anybody would have figured what was coming up before this, but I had zero. I was interested as hell when I saw that crater. I was like, who did that? Just like they did, just like they said, who did that? But they get into the field and a bunch of like storm clouds start coming in. And I don't know if you want to take a guess at who I thought this was at this moment.
I thought it was Storm.
That's what I thought too. I was like, is a zombie storm about to come their way? Because I was like, there's no way they get out of this if there is. Like, if that's what's about to happen, they're shit out of luck. Like, there's nothing helping.
These old men are gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah. But it ends up being, side note, they do not want to let this die, even though they said they're not doing a second movie. Icarus from the Eternals fighting Captain Marvel, zombie Captain Marvel.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like I think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna do another movie, but it's gonna be like
because they don't want. And I think it's because they see a lot of people kind of disappointed that like the cliffhangers aren't being fulfilled. But y'all shouldn't have bitched when the movie came out. Y'all sat here and filled the internet with the movie stinks and all this stuff. And then when they say they're not doing a second one, oh, well, the movie wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. And then it got on Disney Plus and people started watching it and liking it. What were y'all doing the first couple of weeks to months that it was out?
The critic sucks. The guy who played Icarus even recently said that he signed on. His contract
most of them signed on for multiple movies.
Like he's 8 movies.
The one person that did, from what I hear, because he's also in Game of Thrones. The guy who plays Icarus, he plays Robert Stark. Right. His co-star, who's also in the Eternals movie, I forget his actual name, but the guy who plays Jon Snow, he's the guy who's Dean something, the guy who gets the ebony blade at the end, who's supposed to be in with Blade and all that stuff. He said something along the lines that he signed on, but he didn't know it was for more than one movie.
Yeah. I read that. He was
because he wasn't really feeling it, and he was trying to get out of that too. So.
Yeah, he had no idea. He had no intentions to continue the story and all that.
Yeah, he read the script and was like, "This is a continuing character. Like, like what is this?" But so Icarus is down there banging it out with Captain Marvel, and it didn't hit me in the moment, but like later on, it hits me as like, oh, because they explained it basically that Icarus really obviously is probably the prime subject to be doing this right now if everybody's fucked up because he can't be infected. And he's strong. He basically Superman. He basically Superman.
Basically, honestly, you think about it too. One point was brought up that his mission is still to
protect the Earth,
resurrect. Well, is basically to resurrect or Tiamat, and basically if what you call it, zombie what's her name?
With the infection,
zombie Captain
if the infection is going on, it can't happen.
If zombie Captain Marvel wasn't distracted, she'll be killing too many people. You know what I mean?
No, you want to know what it is? Zombie Captain Marvel is the issue on Earth. He's more there fighting, so she doesn't get out and spread it throughout the universe. Because remember, they're all on different planets doing the same thing. So if she starts spreading it, you're not just harming Earth. You're harming all these other planets and all these other celestials from being given birth. So he's basically preventing the whole universe from going to shit by doing what he's doing.
That's another sense of that. I would say the Nova Corps.
I think that's exactly what the TV show said. I think the TV show even says that's exactly what he's doing.
They would have got wiped out by the zombie.
He's
zombie
cleaning
Captain
them up
Marvel.
and moving on and going to another planet and starting this shit somewhere else.
Yeah, she would have, and that's what happened in the comic book. The heroes went to another planet to start to eat other people.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
it wasn't contained to just Earth, but in the comic books, they dipped.
So in the midst of this fight, we get our first casualty. We get our first real casualty in the midst of this fight, it becomes that perfect moment to use that trick arrow and see what tricks Hawkeye had up his sleeve. And this was some Joker level bullshit. I'll tell you that much. This is the equivalent of him with the gun and it goes bang and a red flag comes out. Like, she shot Captain Marvel with that arrow, and that motherfucker was a confetti arrow, bro. And Captain Marvel looked down, looked back up, and proceeded to roast the shit out of Kate Bishop. Literal skeleton in the screen.
I had to bring it back because I was like, oh shit, that shit was just so. Shout out to Marvel how they didn't hold back from the goriness and the blood and people dying, like showing the heroes dying. Like that was cool. That was dope. I had to bring it back the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, let me see that one more time.
Rest in peace, Kate Bishop. I was keeping a whole list, and then with the ending, I'm like kind of lost of like what's actually going on. So like I kind of scrapped the list of the rest in pieces.
Especially when no more come in episode 2 or 3. Well, it's a wrap.
Yeah, but so we'll get to the reason my rest in peace list later on. But then Kamala Khan sees that she wants to run in there. She thinks she's gonna save her, but like she is gone. Like there's dust there most likely. And Riri Williams, who's in her half-finished Iron Man thingy suit or Bob, whatever she's called, Ironheart suit, with the Iron Man suit on her by her side.
I see, understand now. See, the thing is about that too. That's not even. That's nothing. That's not even Ironheart at all.
Yeah,
She
she's not.
hasn't. That's just straight to Iron Man. Because remember in what Marvel Zombies
No,
What
no.
If?
What I'm saying is that she has stuff on her. That's like the precursor to the Ironheart suit, like her half-ass Ironheart suit.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, because what
Yeah,
she
the
got is
Iron
that.
Man suit is literally just Iron Man suit. Yeah, that's literally just Iron Man suit from the first What Ifs episode.
Yeah, she got that from Tony.
But she sends her Iron Man suit in there to go take the transmitter, give it to Kamala, and get her out of here because she knows that it's basically game over at this point. Riri got bit. So in your head, R.I.P. her, but she stabs herself with something she has that she's testing. She doesn't even know if it'll work, but she's testing it to see if it'll prevent the zombie outbreak. And we find out later if it does or doesn't work. But the suit gets her out of there, and Kamala Khan gets swooped up by Blade Knight. I like calling him Blade Knight. But and then she comes to, and he's explaining what's going on and where they're headed and all this, and she explains about the transmitter, and they show up at the north something, and it's surrounded by zombies, but they're not attacking. And then they find out the trio of Melina, Yelena, and Alexei are running this with the widows, and Melina has used her brain control thingy from the movie or whatever it was to control the zombies. And now she's got a zombie army guarding her fortress. I ain't even mentioned that Okoye is like the leader of the Scarlet Witch's gang. Like, she's like the co-captain because she died. Yeah, she died in the What If.
Yeah, she personally like grabbed her like herself, like with the power. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good.
Well, she looked at her and she saw how loyal she was, and she was like, I need that. I need that on my side. Took that from Black Panther himself. He said, "Oh, this is your girl? That's mine now." but yeah, so they show up.
My head and she like, yeah, good, good Okoye, good Okoye.
Michael Jordan. But yeah, so they get there and they talk to Alexei and Melina and Yelena, and they gave her the whole breakdown. And Yelena's being Yelena, played by Florence Pugh. There's a couple characters who are not played by their actual voice actors. Like Blade is not actually voiced by Mahershala Ali. That's somebody else.
Yeah, he just connectiness is just.
Yeah, but like people like Alexei and like Yelena, those are voiced by their actual voice actors. Melina is actually not her actual voice actor either. They decide that they're gonna help because they want to save the world. They want to rid this zombie apocalypse because who the fuck doesn't? But knock, knock, knock. The zombies are coming. Okoye shows up with her gang that is composed of Hawkeye, Ghost, Abomination Hulk, and Captain America. I don't think there's any other major
Ghost
names
was
there.
fire, man.
Huh?
Ghost was fire. I said Ghost was fire, man. She was fire. She was a fire ass character.
And Captain America, if anybody did watch the What Ifs, he is in the same state as he was at the end of the What Ifs episode when he got cut in half by Bucky Barnes. I don't remember Bucky dying at all, so I was wondering where he was at because I don't remember if he died or not in the What Ifs. I kind of
He
doubt he did.
died. I remember he died, and I think he was and I think he was on the field when facing the Hulk, facing Infinity Hulk
I,
at the end.
I thought I saw that too, but I wasn't sure. I thought I saw that too.
I thought I saw him on the field.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I gotta go watch that part again. I was coming up on that part too, but so they run down on this north whatever building that Alexi and all the gang are hidden in, and Melina, as they're running away to get to their escape hatch, decides that she's gonna try to trap them all so they buy them time and stuff like that with her little device taking over their brains, and she succeeds. She helps them get away. Alexi gets in his fight with Captain America as he wanted, and he wins. Don't really count because it's only half of Captain America. But and honestly, if it was real Captain America, what won the fight wouldn't have won the fight because he only squished because he was a zombie, bro. Like,
That's what I was wondering. I was like, yo, why they all don't just punch real hard at these niggas' heads? Which eventually they all did. Like eventually, everybody just
he
started
wanted
popping
to have
heads
a
and shit.
fight with Captain America was duking and dodging on that boy. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Yo, nah, the fight
He
with
got
Cap was
behind the
ill when he
shield
was
and
rolling
started
with the
rolling,
shield.
bro.
Yeah, when he rolling with the shield, that shit was fire. I was like, oh nah, hold up.
Yeah, but as they're running away, everybody's trying to get to him, and after Melina stops him, Okoye comes in. So the dead listen to you? And she's like, no, they listen to science. I don't know why she running her mouth. You should have just said attack, motherfuckers. But somebody's got to be arrogant. And then Okoye was like, let me show you those who follow the queen of the dead. And then they all turn back and kill Melina real fast.
It was cool. Real good. I think the main characters, the main zombies, having their sense. Some of them having their senses is another cue to the comic because in the comic strip, they when they become zombies, they still retain all their like smartness. Only time they really bug out is when they get hungry,
Well, I mean, that
and
was
they
happening
actually
even
like
in the What Ifs episode also.
yeah, yep. And
Yeah.
only time they really bug out is when they get hungry, and when they're not hungry, they actually feel regret. They be like, "Damn man, we zombies. We gotta stop this shit." Then they get hungry and be like, "Fuck this shit. We gonna go
It's
kill some
time to go
others."
be crazy again because I ain't about to starve. Blade should know a lot about what they going through, man. The boy used to eat blood and shit like that. So, like, but I think that's where that episode wraps up, right? Is after Melina dies and they escape and Yelena kind of cries and all that stuff. And then they move on to the rafting.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna just give my opinion about that episode. I just think that I like the pace of the episode. The pace of the episode was so fast from the beginning. Boom, dude gets hit in the head. Then the next one, like you said, the fight with Hawkeye. Boom, and then they go right there. Then the plane. Then they gotta make the decision to go. And then when they, it just keeps going and going and going. And then it actually goes from like regular type of action, and then you get the goriness all when the zombies come in and stuff like that, and then there's no shade and stuff like that from there. So, I just wanted to give that quick
I feel
opinion.
like the
But episode
pacing's
two,
amazing
episode two,
throughout the
and
whole
episode
series.
two is a good reflection of it too. Honestly, episode two doesn't let up on the pace, and it doesn't let up on the goriness.
Yeah, I feel like the pacing throughout this series was just amazing because the first episode happens and we're about to get into the second episode, but the second episode is like the same thing as the first, just from a different perspective of people, and then they
Yep.
come together and it's just an upward scale the rest of the way. And
And you know why I said, and here's why I say we're gonna get in episode two, but here's why I said what I said in the beginning, set the time where it was happening at, because in episode two, you're gonna get to it when you explain it, but remember when they're running, it's one point when they say look, and they was like, wasn't that the PIM building? Like, wasn't that the PIM building and shit like that? And then we see the people popping up from there. And I feel like that would be the exact part where like basically where the zombies were let out and shit like that, and it came through. So, but
no,
yeah,
that
go
is
ahead.
exactly what is going on. It all started from there.
Yeah, right. Because that was like 4 years. That was at the moment it happened. That was 4 years prior to like the main story, right? 4 or 5 years prior to the main story when we
You
see them
there's
running.
kind of there's a time skip that happens where they don't really point it out that they do say 5 years later at some point, but there's a time skip that they kind of just like skip over and they don't really talk about the time skip. And I'll get to that point as we talk about episode 2. So I'll try to breeze through that. So episode 2 starts off in San Francisco, I think is where they're all from. Is like Shang-Chi, Ant-Man and all that, the Pims and all that. I think they're in San Francisco if I'm not mistaken.
Shang-Chi is the same city as Ant-Man during Ant-Man 2, but we don't know that
No, that's what
basically.
I'm saying. Is like I think the city that they're in is San Francisco. I think that's where they're located
Oh,
from.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
so you see Shang-Chi, who goes by Sean, and I forget his friend's name, the girl that Aquafina plays.
Um. Oh shit! I don't know. Damn.
I'm sorry I forgot her name, but if he pulls it up while I'm talking, that's fine. But they're running and dodging and getting away from zombies all over the place. The whole city's in pandemonium. The streets are full of people and zombies. And next thing you know, what they bump into, who do they bump into? Jimmy motherfucking Woo, the quick magic man. Ant
Yeah,
Man's
that was
arch
that was
nemesis.
a cool one.
Ant Man's arch nemesis slash best
And
friend.
that was even cool to like really blend that whole story. See, like
I
I like
laughed because
that
they
because
put
that
the
was like a
Asians
good
together,
blending of the
but
story.
I was like, they put the Asians together. They're just missing Wong and shit. Like, but Wong was already a zombie in the What Ifs, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like,
Wong was a zombie. Yep.
and
You right
he's
about
not
that.
based
Yeah.
in San Francisco. He would be Kamertage or New York, I would assume. But so they're running and it's starting to look bleak for them. But then all of a sudden, who comes in to save the day? I don't even know why they came in because they were safe where they were. Shang-Chi's dad and Death Dealer and their whole army. Why they come here? I'm pretty sure they were safe. Remember, they were in like hidden woods or something that like nobody can even just access on their own. Like you can't just waltz into this
Oh,
place.
shit. Oh, they did. I mean, well, he knew his son was in danger. He didn't give a damn about
Yeah,
his
I
daughter.
get that. I get that. I get that part. Yeah, the daughter was nowhere to be found. Right? They don't even mention that in this thing. Like, I didn't even think of that. That she gets no mention whatsoever.
He did
But
not care about the daughter. He did not go
so
after
thank God
her.
Shang-Chi's out here and his dad loves him, obviously, because he could have just stayed in safety with his whole army and his whole people, and they could have just lived out there and been fine. But so he shows up and they do reenact some stuff there from Shang-Chi the movie, and that's why I said in a lot of parts they're reenacting things in slightly different ways than that what happens in a lot of their movies, or at least somewhere where they appear. Um, and his dad kind of goes through the same spiel and gives him the rings like he does in the movie, not in the same fashion, but in a zombie apocalypse version of it, and
Well,
sacrifices himself
he
because Shang
nodded
Chi
his head
doofy
in the
ass got
same
ate.
fashion.
Huh?
He gave him that head nod in the same fashion. He was
That's what I'm
like,
saying. It's not the exact same thing because it's a totally different scenario, but it mirrors. And it's all because Shang Chi doofy ass wanted to go get bit. Stupid ass. Like you all good at fighting, and you out here getting
I want to
bit.
point out, like for the rest of the episodes, there's only 9 rings, and one ring is
Inaccurate.
for
That's not really
one.
accurate. There's only 9 that are. I can't even say in use because they're all technically in use. That one is just always in use on his
That one
bicep,
is
so
just
it's not
glowing.
so
Yeah,
the infection's not spreading.
yeah, that one is forever glowing on his arm now. Well, until he dies at the end, but whatever.
Yep. So Jimmy Woo, Shang Chi, and
Yeah, I
Hong
can't
Six
find
name.
this her name, y'all. I'm sorry. We just gonna continue the story. We gonna continue the story as Shang-Chi's friend.
So I'm gonna be unprofessional and I'm gonna look at my phone as I talk. But yeah, they escape and they make their way off to go find the raft or whatever it is, wherever their safety lies. And eventually, oh well, let's talk about the Pym building real quick. The Pym building, like we said, they're in the same city as Hank Pym and Ant-Man and all this. I'm pretty sure the scene that we're watching for Shang-Chi is like literally like probably like an hour to 24 hours after Jane Jane Van Pym, whatever her
Yeah,
fucking name is, shows up.
yeah. I know what you mean. Jane Van Dyne. I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
This gotta be either an hour
Katie
like an
Chen.
hour or
Katie
two.
Chen.
Katie
Her
Chen.
name is Katie Chen. Katie Chen.
Gotcha. So Jane Van Dyne. This is like within 24 hours, I'm assuming. Is this mayhem is going on? That's why you see it all going crazy at the building because there's probably so many people in there going nuts. And while they're escaping, they're seeing giant bugs, giant birds, giant people. Like it's like a whole kaiju event. And it's funny because they're using the Asian people to do a Godzilla-like event in this scenario, bro. Like they thought they were low. We catch that shit around here. Yo, Shang-Chi daddy put the hole through that motherfucker head, bro. That nigga said blah 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 right through that big motherfucker.
Oh yeah, the big ass zombie man who got bit. See, he was a regular nigga in the building.
He was confused as fuck. He was confused as fuck when he was big. He's like, "Why am I big?" And then a zombie bit him. And then a big zombie bit him.
He didn't enjoy it. No, he was dead, done.
So around this time, I don't think I'm missing anything by doing this. Around this time, we get to the time skip because this is where you see like Shang-Chi and them driving in the carts, Mad Max style, and the Skrulls start following them, and they're chasing them down.
Is cool because they already on Earth, as we already know from Sam what you call that, Nick Fury's show, and then but in this timeline though, because of the zombie apocalypse, everybody dies and stuff like that, so they ain't got hide no more. They just outside running around like Mad Max, and I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, and they're trying to steal the cows so they can eat. But the gang takes out all the Skrulls and goes on about their business. And they work their way to the same place that Kamala Khan and all the other people are on their way to. Oh, yeah, Shang-Chi and them meet up with Alexi and all. Is it Alexi? No. I feel like they meet up with other people. Who did they meet up with?
Oh,
they just like recruited some other 3 niggas, didn't they?
Nah. They recruited my guy,
Death Dealer, but there were like some other random people there.
It was like Wu and just the other people from his dad's clique.
I guess I'll take that. I think that's where they from, right?
The black chick, he was bald. I remember
that.
I don't know
them people, like, where'd they come? Who are they? But so they get to the thing. They offer the cows up so they can get onto the boat, which is literally just the floating jail. That's literally what that is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They kept nodding to things that have happened and things that we are familiar with and stuff like that, so we know what's going on.
Remember, they had Baron Zemo already locked up, and I think they had.
He took it over. Yeah, he was on that raft.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he was at the end of Captain America too.
He's the one reading the book. Yep.
Yeah, he's in the back. Yep.
So you find out Baron Zemo's in charge of this boat. His sidekick is John Walker, other bootleg Captain America, which was funny because I didn't even catch that at first. I was wondering who he was the whole time I was watching this. I was like, who the fuck is this dude, bro?
I saw the clips I watched after the show too. I did not know who the fuck this guy was.
And they're confused as fuck. But this is where our 2 gangs now meet up and they make their way onto the boat because, they're heroes. Baron Zemo hates heroes, but he's like, yo, you might be useful. So they get on the boat. They started going to places. They're headed off. And Okoye shows up at the docks after they leave and says, you think you could get away from the queen? And then gives some call, and all of a sudden, Namor and his folks are on the way. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
See, and that's why they had the time skip, because they had to travel from, like, San Francisco all the way down to, like, Virginia, bro. Like, that's the craziness of it all. Because that's where they took the boats from. They weren't in San Francisco when they took those boats. So basically, those groups were together for some time, and they just eventually got there.
Yeah, but the fight with Namor was pretty dope. It's pretty dope, and man.
The reason why I know the time skip happens is because I'll skip ahead a little bit. When they talk about the events of Thanos, they kind of play the events of Thanos also with a 5-year time skip. Remember that? That's where the 5 years later comes from. They talk about like the events of Thanos, and then they hit you with like some 5 years later shit, just like the end game. And that's how I looked at
Yeah.
this whole thing that played out. This was just a Marvel Zombies Infinity War Endgame story.
Yeah, you can see it that way because at the end, even when Infinity Hulk, they all stand there in front of him. They play the Avengers music and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
he's basically the Loki of the story, the weaver of timelines and shit like that. He's just doing it with
he
the
just trying
energy
to hold it
field.
down.
Yeah, he's just doing it
Yeah,
with
he
an
just trying to
energy
hold it
field.
together.
But so we'll continue. Loki, Namor and his group pop up. They start wrecking shit, and then Zemo, because the rooms are all the jail cells basically, and Zemo had a plan anyways for when Namor and them showed up that he was just gonna, feed the heroes to Namor and his clique of zombie guys. And it's kind of interesting that they're also zombies, that they're just in the water feasting on anything because they were eating whale carcasses and all that stuff. But
Oh.
this is where Zemo fucked up because he thinks he's just gonna shoot them out into the water, and Kamala Khan makes a bubble, and Namor decides to blast that bubble right back onto the ship, and now he's on the ship ready to fuck shit up. But they put him in a whole containment thing, so it
Yeah,
held him
the
for a
ship
little
had
bit.
really quick. The ship functions had quicker reflexes than I thought it would have. Because as soon as they bust through the hole, the door came back up. Boom, no water. It's stopping the water from coming in. And then when he said, "Yo, put the Hulk, bust the Hulk containment up," that shit went up like 1.2. I was
Well,
like,
well, look
damn.
at the kind of people they gotta protect. Like they gotta keep in there, bro. Like,
And that shit was really like containing him. Like that shit was dead end. Like it took him a minute,
that ain't
but
stopping
he
no
got
damn
out
Hulk.
quick.
I'll tell you that much. Because if Namor got out,
Yeah,
it ain't
he
stopping no
got
damn
out.
Hulk.
Not the
And Namor
Yeah,
strong as
definitely.
shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like they had Namor looking OD strong in this shit because he's fucking shit up. They're in there fighting the Talocons, whatever, however they were pronouncing it. But they were getting jiggy. They were in there fighting, and then they started escaping, and Namor busts out, and then Kamala Khan tries to use her little wall thing to stop him. And bro, he
Yeah, it
pushes
was.
them back, and I'm sitting here in my head like, yo, his little ankle wings that aren't even full wings anymore, they're just bones on his ankles now. He powerful as
He had
shit
the little,
because
because he had the little shark teeth.
he's out here pushing Shang-Chi and Katie Chen, who both are using the rings to push against the wall and the other wall. They're pushing up against Blade Knight and a
The
super
super.
soldier, and a super soldier, and Kamala Khan, and he's still pushing them back. And I'm just like, I'm in awe at how strong he is, bro. And then they bust in that room, and Zemo's just there, like, what the fuck, bro? Thought he was gonna get up out of there real clean, but no more. Started going to fucking work. Those three randoms that we talked about a couple minutes ago, they don't exist
Yeah.
anymore. John Walker, he got did just like the guy he wanted to be like, Captain America, cut in half. Eventually, they kind of subdued. Well, they subdued the fuck out of him. Kamala Khan. This is the moment where she decides that we ain't playing Mrs. Nice Guy no more.
What to say? She got rid of him.
She said
Got
we
rid
ain't
of him.
playing nice no more. This is life or death. I see. Like it took her mad long to realize that this shit is life or death, but like, cause this is years in the making and shit like that. But she put that glowy fist in his mouth and blew that motherfucker up. That shit was also clean as hell. That whole episode, that whole fight sequence in the horror shit was all fire throughout this whole episode.
Yeah.
The whole
That's why I
time
said
that Namor and his people were in there fucking shit up was all fire.
the whole pace of it and the action did not let up. Like they actually turned it up like just a notch in episode 2 from episode 1.
And then you gotta have your sad moment at the end of the episode where they can't get the escape pod to eject, and Yelena goes down to eject it herself manually, but she's not able to return to the pod because there is a whole bunch of zombies out there waiting for her in the pathway to get back. So she ejects it off, lets everybody go. Alexi, I felt so bad for my man Alexi because he lost all his family in 2 episodes, bro. I don't know how much time that has transpired, but in 2 episodes, all I know is he lost both his family members. He's a broken man at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, this is where this episode ends.
Yeah, that was the sad, yeah, that was a sad episode. Well, the end of it, but on to episode three though, because episode three it doesn't, it's a little slow in the beginning, but then it goes
You
crazy.
want to take the honors for these two? You might
No,
fly
no,
through.
no,
You
no,
might fly through these faster
no.
than I am. Shit.
I mean, I was thinking the way you was doing it, but I could take it for episode three. Yeah. So episode three, they pull up to where they was trying to go to New Asgard, right? New Asgard. There's a bunch of heads on a bunch of spears everywhere because we got the Valkyrie who's just like out there playing. Let me see who I can hit, and that's a actually they alluded to the cartoons. I mean to the comic with that as well because in the MCU she uses a sword, and in the comic she uses a spear. You know what I mean? So they gave her a spear in this one, and that was pretty cool. So Nico already said, I mean, Cinco already said his favorite scene was when Kanju pops up, and that's because when they approach the gate with the new gods, Valkyrie is like, get the fuck out of here, because y'all not gods, y'all not worthy, and y'all humans, y'all stink, and we not fucking with y'all.
You know
And
what
then
this was
Kanju
kind of
was like,
funnily like? It was like one of those
oh.
those scenarios that they play out where it's like, oh, you're being mean to a homeless person on the bus, and that could be Jesus, and you're like missing your opportunity to do something nice. That's like literally what it was. It's like you were, and Conchu was not about to just sit there silently and let you mess up your opportunity. He's like, motherfucker, I'm Conchu, bitch.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna play no humble Jesus at that point. Like, oh well, you missed your opportunity. He like, nah, 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 nigga. You gonna know who I
He was
am.
like, we out here
So yeah,
trying to stop this zombie apocalypse.
he popped up. He popped up. I'm trying to say he popped this shit. You know what I mean? And she was like, all right, bet. Yeah, you and your company, you could come in. They went in there. Everything is basically how Asgard was. Everybody's just in a good mood, drinking. It's probably having sex, but they probably wasn't showing that. You know what I'm saying? So somewhere in the back, he was wilding out doing Asgard stuff. In the middle of all this, we got Thor. They bring Thor back in. Thor's face is just peeled off
From his
because
fight
of
with
when
Thanos.
yeah, from when zombie Thanos just got at him, but he's basically like a statue. He's like it's back to how he was in the beginning of Endgame when he has that depression and he just not talking to nobody and stuff like that. Only this time he's not fat, he's not
The
drinking, and
parallels are there.
so yeah, so yeah, why they there and all that stuff. Alexi is eating. I say that for a reason. I'm gonna get to that. Other people they just partying and all that stuff, and
To
then
Yelena.
boom. And then boom, out of nowhere, somebody who this girl, Valkyrie, she's like, yeah, we got the queen of Wachovia here.
Sokovia, bro.
Sokovia, yeah, Sokovia. And my man Zemo like, hold up. Not that's my shit. Hold up, you
He said the
wildin'.
queen is the Covia.
He nigga like that's my bitch. He like that's not. I don't think so. So yeah, Wanda walks up, smooth face. I was surprised honestly. I was like, oh, she died. I was like, what the hell going on here? You know what I'm saying? I thought the story was about to take another turn, but I like how it went. Um, Smooth face and all that. She like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm the queen. I'm here partying with the gods and all that. They
It's
like, nah,
safe
nah, nah.
around me. I don't bite.
You know what I mean? They went on offense, defense, or both of them honestly, and they like, nah, this is the queen of the dead. Valkyrie in the back, like, what y'all talking about? And like boldly, she just said it like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you right. I was dead, but then I got my powers, I got my powers under control. I learned how to warp my reality. So she basically that was another thing on WandaVision because she wasn't a zombie in WandaVision, but she was warping her reality, you know what I'm saying, in control of that. And yeah, and then Valkyrie is like, you bitch. And then she like, yeah, do her little wave with the arm what she did in the madness. What's that? Stranger Madness. I forgot what it's
Multiverse of
called.
madness.
Yeah, multiverse of madness. You know what I'm saying? All the food turns to zombie legs and all that stuff.
I mean, this is
And
essentially just an extension of that Wanda being evil, like the multiverse of madness Wanda. That's
yeah,
basically just an
yep,
extension of that if she never died or some shit like that. If she became this way for different reasons.
right, yep. And yeah, from there basically, all hell breaks out. But if just to tell the truth, everybody just goes crazy. Zombies everywhere, they fighting people, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? They did a great job You know what I'm saying with the action because I thought Thor was done right there. I keep thinking Thor's gonna die, right? But there's something like in the back of my head is like, nah, this is Thor. Like he's not gonna
I
like,
was
you know
about
what
to
I'm
say
trying to
you
say? Like so
disrespecting my nigga like that, bro. You
yeah, yeah, nah. So like but even when the zombies I'm talking about when the zombies like, oh, covered him, he just sat there, like, but he opened his eyes for the first time in that scene when they
when
crowded him.
Kamala,
So he
yeah,
was
when
like,
Kamala saved him real quick, because he was like, "Who
yeah,
the fuck wasted their time saving me? This empty
yeah,
shell of a
right, right.
man." That's some Thor ass
But
shit to say in that moment. I'm an empty
he was
vessel. Why
coming
would you
to
waste your time saving me, child?
yeah, he was coming to it. So they get into the I believe they get into a ship, right? They get into a ship or something like
That is
that.
what they're there
And
for, is to get on the spaceship so they can go to outer space and use the transmitter.
but Wanda, oh yeah, right. But before that though,
Don't forget,
Wanda brings them
Alexi
back
got
down.
bit already at this point, and for two
Now he
seconds
didn't
my
get
brain went,
correction,
"Oh yeah, he
correction. He didn't
doesn't
get
get
bit.
bit. He ate the food."
He was eating. That's why I said that earlier. He was eating a bunch of the food because when she waved her hands, all the food went back to the zombie
Because you
part.
want to know
So
what? I had a
yeah,
thought in
so
my head for a second, and I made perfect sense of why it was possible. I was like, when did Alexi get bit? I don't remember, but and this is during my second time watching it because I was like kind of in and out and not watching the part where he was eating the second time, so I totally forgot that he was eating. And I was like, well, wait a minute, those are gods, so like them biting through his uniform wouldn't really not make sense, right? Like they would probably bite harder. Those zombies would bite harder than regular zombies. So like it doesn't not make sense. But you're right. It's because he was eating the zombie food.
yeah. And and he took longer to turn
Oh, and rest
zombie
in
than
peace, Death
previous.
Dealer
Oh yeah, man.
and
Rest
Jimmy
in peace.
Woo and
Yeah,
Jimmy Woo.
yeah.
They started dropping this episode, bro.
Everybody was done. Yeah, everybody was done this episode. But Death Dealer had to like, yo, he went the fuck off right before he went off. Right before he
Yo,
went out,
he
he went
stabbed
the fuck
that
off.
one dude in the hand, and he instantly knew it was wraps for him, bro. Like he instantly knew. He looked at that motherfucker. He had the face on, and that motherfucker just said, "Snap, your arm is mine." And then Death Dealer said, "Kick," and that nigga said, "Nah, that leg is mine too.
Nah,
That belongs to me."
I was like, so he did my
And then
man's
he
dirty.
Hulk Loki that nigga and just swamped that nigga. And yo, bro, you know what his face must have did when he hit the floor, bro? The way his mask broke
Yeah, I know, cause it broke like.
in half, bro. His mask in half. That other half of his face is just flat. It's like this now. Like that's all that exists.
So yeah, fast forward, they get the shit. Alexi turns into a zombie. They had to leave him. They get into the ship. Wanda's like, nah, come back here. Boom, brings them back down. I said Zor. Thor pops up like, nah, fuck out of here, bitch. He hits her with the lightning a couple times, which was dope. That was cool to see him just projecting the
My
lightning
boy
without the
Thor
hammer.
was
He was just
throwing
going
them
crazy.
shit.
He was just like, going crazy. The whole time while he's doing that, I'm sitting there in my head, of course, like logically, I'm like, okay, this is a perfect time for them to get out of there.
And
Obviously,
then
Thor
Thor
had the
said the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Like, he's like, nigga, what are y'all doing?
He's like, have you not learned from a mistake twice of not going for the head? Get out of here.
Kamala Khan, being the youngest and the most dramatic, and she's probably going through a lot right now. She is going through it. She was going through a lot. So she's like, no. But they out of there. You know what I'm saying? They got to get out of there and stuff like that. So they go to the space. Here's an important part. They go to space. They think they got it.
Wait, 2 seconds.
They
2
called it
seconds.
over.
2 seconds.
What's up?
When Thor and Wanda started clashing, when the whole explosion happened, I wish Disney would give us a redo of this and give us like an anime fight scene in the explosion for like 4 or 5 seconds.
Mm,
Thor and Wanda just
that's
clashing real quick in the explosion, and the white explosion that happens. Ooh, I might, dude.
fire.
My pants might be a little soaked after that one, boy.
I shot it myself.
Nah, I ain't shitting myself, but but yeah. So they go up into space and
So they go into space. The Nova. Oh yeah. So the whole point is when, like how Single said in the beginning, she got the little thing that's supposed to call the Nova Corps because they are the ones who has like the source to come. handle this.
To refresh anybody's
So
memory, the Nova Corps are the people from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 who have that whole planet that they patrol with the cool ass like star shaped ships and shit like that that protect the
yeah,
galaxy. I don't know why we need Guardians of the Galaxy if the Nova Corps exists, but
yeah. You know what? We gonna answer that in another episode. But
you know the Avengers and the Guardians seem like they do a lot more saving than the Nova Corps do. But
I know. But you know what? The thing is, though, the universe is big, so we probably hearing about we're hearing about 1% of the stuff they do. You feel what I'm trying to say? So this probably
you're right. But Nova Corps, I'm watching y'all.
so so yeah, they call them up. They call them up like, yo, they try to get them on the horn. They like, how
They
long is it gonna
banging the
take?
fucking
Boom.
line on them niggas, bro.
Them niggas was right there. They was waiting for them. Lights
Block they
on,
call
boom.
after the second one. They said, "Nah, we ain't picking up, bro. Fuck that."
Nova was basically there already, and they was like, "Yo, listen, y'all gotta turn around because Earth is on quarantine. To protect the universe, we ain't letting nobody go." Episode ends right there. That episode was definitely it was a great, man. You got anything to say about the episode before we jump into four? Any
um,
um any non-expert opinion on that?
this is probably the weakest of the episodes, but it's still a good ass
Because of that slow
episode.
time in the beginning, right? Like
Cause
it had the slow in the
yeah, because you
beginning.
want to know what it is. It needed to like it was almost like a roller coaster. It was arching upwards, and then it kind of came down a little dip, and then arched back up a little bit, and it needed like a
Yeah,
medium dip to swoop you right back up for a nice big drop at the end. And that's
yeah,
what you
yeah.
get in that episode. You get a nice little calm period where they're eating, they're chilling, they're talking to Valkyrie, trying to get Thor's answer, and then you start getting the ramp back up when they see the Queen of Sokovia, and then everything starts going to fucking shit. People are dying rapidly, and
It would a good like suspense thing like, oh man, what the fuck is about to happen? And then yeah,
yeah.
so go right into the four. Once we go right into episode four, they basically the Nova Corps is like, all right, well we gave y'all to the count of 10, y'all niggas didn't move, so y'all gotta die. And so
Valkyrie
they just
says they could have asked nicely when they were trying to escape, and I'm like, they kind of did. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can't even hate. Here, I will be on the Nova Corps side. They kind of did tell you for like 40 seconds that you guys need to go back to your planet and just
oh
go.
they did not they said, listen, the Earth is on
They even gave
quarantine.
you a countdown. They even gave you a countdown.
They said mad words before the countdown, so you got extra seconds. Like, I'm trying to say, like,
They was just too
so
busy being up there starstruck, like they were never coming to help in the first place.
like, yeah, like, yo, and that was the big thing with this whole thing too. Kamala was so emotional through it. She kept being in shock, like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't
Blade Knight
believe
is
Kate is
just sitting
dead.
there like
Like, we better move.
he like
Like,
Blade Knight just be sitting there in absolute nonchalantness, like at the most random times.
yo, wait, real
It's
quick.
coming
So let
up.
me bring that up, right? So earlier, Blade Knight said, Valkyrie said in episode 3 to Blade Knight, no heads up about the fool. And Blade Knight said,
Conchu doesn't tell me everything.
um, so I thought that was interesting because Kanju being the god of the moon, why the fuck he didn't tell him that the Nova Corps was already out there? So
Maybe
I
he's
was like,
so caught
wow.
up in what's going on that he's like tunnel visioning, and he never thought to like peek out and see what else was going
To
on.
look out, to look out, to
Yeah,
look,
he's
yeah,
like so
maybe.
busy like observing the Earth and shit like that. There was a Watcher spotting in this somewhere. I forget where it is, but because
Oh yeah.
because Conchu was definitely telling him shit. Conchu was telling him when Ghost was about to pop up. That's how he bodied Ghost because he told Kamala to move from the door. Um,
Right.
and
Yep, yep, yep.
this is before Namor is exposed to the people of Earth. So he knew who Namor was because Conchu's familiar with Namor,
That's
while
true. That's
everybody
true.
else
That's
doesn't
true.
know. There's plenty of moments where they were playing into the fact that Khonshu gives information that would otherwise be like unknown to like regular people.
The Watcher was right behind Thanos when he did when he did like that the first time he did that. I believe he was right
I can
there.
just imagine
He
the
was
Watcher narrating that moment. And in that moment, Thanos learned how the Infinity Stones worked, and the world
yeah, like
was
it was something like that. Yeah, yep. It was
and
like
the
he was right behind.
world was in the toilet.
Just so yeah, basically, they get shot back down. They get shot back down to Earth. Kamala Khan uses her power to, save them, sort of save them.
They were gonna die
But the
anyways.
real, yeah, the real saving happens when the team that Shang-Chi is now with. No, 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 I'm wrong. I'm sorry. The team that
You know what we skipped?
what we
The
skip?
third episode starts off with Peter Parker telling us the story of what happened after the What Ifs episode.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
will
But
run
I
that
thought we
real
already
quick. We
in the
didn't really
we
go, we didn't really go over that. We kind of gave a brief because what happens is we know that they arrive at Wakanda, but we don't give the details of how that ends. So they arrive at
yeah,
Wakanda.
with the one leg fights him and stuff.
Yeah, they arrive at Wakanda. Thanos is there. They're fighting Thanos. They're trying to beat him up. It's not really working. They think they're about to lose. And then Thor and them pop up, just like they did it in Endgame. That's what I'm saying. It's literally happening in like the same sequence as Endgame and all that. Because they basically popped up, I'm assuming, from the same place that Thor pops up from the last time, where he makes Stormbreaker. Because he pops
Yeah,
up with
because Peter Parker
Stormbreaker.
said that. 'Cause I think Peter Parker narrates that part in that part. He was like, Thor showed up wanting revenge, something like that, but it didn't happen that way.
And I don't know what he would want revenge for in that moment. Maybe Thanos did get. Well, they are in New Asgard, so I'm assuming the Ragnarok event happened also.
Well, I'm about to say, yeah, I'm about to say he probably still destroyed the ship in the air and stuff like that and everything. But when he got to Earth, he
Yeah, but
became a
it's
zombie.
kind of weird because so many things are different. You got to like figure out what actually happened that still happens the way we know
Yeah,
it.
what?
So I'm assuming Ragnarok happens. He loses Storm Mjolnir in the process. Before that, goes get Stormbreaker, comes back down here. Thanos beats that ass. Rest in peace, Groot and Rocket. And then Black Panther decides it's time to put the mitts on that man. And he was getting jiggy on that one leg. I ain't gonna lie, that boy was getting right.
He was sick. He was so sick. He wasn't holding back.
I seen him charging up that vibranium, and I knew this wasn't gonna end well for Black Panther when he was charging up that vibranium. And then he got the stone taken from him, and I was like, ooh, this really ain't gonna go well. And then they exposed that stupid hole in the ground, and I was like, oh, poor BP, this stinks. But T'Challa being the what's the word I want to use?
Hero?
It's something other than a hero. But T'Challa being the for the greater good person that he is, sacrificed himself, pushed him and Thanos off. And honestly, I don't know if he really helped because the shit that's going on in this very moment in this show is because of what Black Panther did. Because he's trying to get that energy and all that shit. But
I mean, it could have went either way because that zombie Thanos was learning. So if he would have learned, because remember, even when they pulled the axe out, the nigga used the time stone to heal himself. He was learning so fast like that. So they really had like a small choice to make because if they would have let that Thanos go crazy, the whole universe would have been done.
so you
You
know
know what I mean?
what's a moment in this that people have mixed feelings about. I'm seeing mixed reactions. Is the fact that Peter Parker narrates the whole situation, and
Yep.
when it gets to Black Panther saying Wakanda forever quietly, they narrate that part instead of having somebody voice that line for T'Challa. And
Yeah.
I don't like. I can see why you would want somebody to do it, so it's like T'Challa giving his final words as Chadwick Boseman. But why have a problem with them having Peter Parker as a narrator? Because they obviously don't want to recast T'Challa out of respect
Yeah.
for Chadwick Boseman. So I felt like it was a good, maybe not the right person to use because this is the same guy who voices Spider-Man from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And remember, he had that drama around him with the show's
Yep.
not too
Yep.
woke, so he was happy with that. So maybe not the best person to do it because of that reason. But other than that, why? What's the issue?
Well, okay, yeah, I can. Well, that one issue you brought up, definitely, I can see that being the main issue. Other than that, yeah, I don't have an issue with that. Like, I feel it's exactly how you feel, honestly. Like, yeah,
And they
they
used it
don't want
perfectly
to.
because they positioned it as Peter Parker telling the story to younglings at Comertage. So it wasn't like he was
I
just
didn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, they respect if they could have used Chadwick Boseman's voice since they use his light. They that is the Black Panther. You know, we that's in the MCU. They use his likeliness and stuff like that. But it's not like when I heard him like narrate it in a way, I didn't feel any type of way. Like,
yeah, like there's nothing to be mad about here. Like they didn't
yeah,
disrespect anything. They're more honoring him by not recasting him, if anything. So like a recast would have been
right.
cool. A voice line would have been cool, even if it was just a Wakanda forever, and that would have been cool. But it wasn't. It doesn't break the show. Like
What though it's in the way it had to be said though. Like Peter Parker said, like I heard Black Panther whisper Wakanda forever as if it was his last time. Do we have a recording of Chadwick Boseman doing that? No, like because every time he said it,
yeah,
he was
but we could
proud.
have got somebody who like sounds enough like him, like we
I
did
mean,
with
yeah,
like we did with Blade
no, it's
Knight.
not.
Blade Knight is not
That was
Mahershala
I like that.
Ali.
Yeah, no, facts. But I mean, just for that one line though, it's not that.
It's not that deep.
It's,
Exactly, it's not. So whatever. But that is basically the Spider-Man storytelling that I had to interrupt episode 4 for. We can get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So episode 4, basically, where I was at?
We
They in
left off
space.
with them getting got by Cumbertide. That's why I remembered it
Yeah,
because
that's what I
Peter
was saying.
Parker was
Yeah,
popping
okay.
up.
Yeah. So yeah, they getting saved. They falling through the air. You know what I'm saying? They falling out of space back into the ocean. Comet circles come save them.
They waited their
Who
sweet ass time
found out
for Miss Marvel.
one of the names I can't. I ain't got to pull that right now. But one of the names I remember is the London Master. I remember him from the movie, the London Master, and he that's like the only name that he ever has. He doesn't have a real
He
name.
doesn't. Yeah, he's
So,
just the London Master, and I don't know the other
but
person's name, but I know Rentra
because
is the other one, the Green Bull guy.
what's his name?
Rentra is the Green Bull.
Okay. I like the London Master episode 4. That's why I mentioned him because he gets busy at the end. I'm gonna get to him. But
He do.
okay, so yes, they get the
I think he kills
commentage.
Hawkeye if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. He peels them off real quick with the X. He peels them off. So they explain it to them like, listen, man, we basically had this plan, it didn't work. Now, blah blah blah. They tell them about what happened to the energy, the infinity energy that had that released when Black Panther pushed it into the vibranium core, pushed zombie Thanos into the vibranium Thor. They needed basically a conduit, I think it is a conduct, something like that.
Conduit.
Yeah, conduit. There you go. They needed a conduit person to contain it all, to hold it all together. And we already know, who that's a perfect thing for Bruce Banner to do because man of Gamma and all that. So he does that. He becomes Infinity Hulk. That's why I've been calling Infinity Hulk this whole time. 'Cause I like that name for
I
him.
can
That's
deal with
Infinity.
that. I can rock with that.
Infinity Hulk is pretty cool. I like him. He's dope because he's there just and like Cinco said, he's there just on his low key, just holding down, like, what I'm saying, the energy, making sure it's not wilding out. But that's the theme of the whole show. Zombie Wanda wants that energy. I necessarily don't. Now she claims she wants it to, to heal the world. Now looking at her face, we're not gonna believe that. You know what I'm trying to say? Who would believe that?
Now
The end
I
of the,
actually don't disbelieve it. Like I know it's
you know,
Wanda, but like she can do whatever. Remember, she can literally create a different reality. Like and she's probably just in
but
a
I
weakened
feel
state as a zombie, where she's like, if I can get this energy, I'm at a strong enough state where I can recreate the world however I please to recreate it.
right, but then she just she just masking it, and I think we
Well, it
that we
might be
get
one
that
of
we
those
get that.
things where the intent, like it might be just like Thanos. Intentions are good. You're just going about it in an evil way that other people wouldn't agree with.
Yep. It's sort of like that. Yeah, it's sort of like that. So yeah, basically, that's that right there. We get to they tell the young heroes that they tell the heroes that Wanda has a army strong enough to face Infinity Hulk. That's why she's been trying to get everything together. Or she's trying to get more zombies. She goes to facing Infinity Hulk with a massive army. The army is crazy. That shit is actually pretty dope. It's and like Single been saying, it's like Endgame. You know what I'm saying? That scene where Captain America is sitting there by himself. When he gets up, he straps his boot right before the circles come, and we just got that whole scene with Thanos and his side is just looking at him, and it's sort of like that. We got Infinity Hulk just looking like nigga, like who y'all? They start charging at him and all that. My man just on his magic, he like just start punching them away.
Boy
He
is
gets rid
punching
of.
air and started sending motherfuckers, bro. Yo, when
Oh,
Abomination ran at him, when
obliterate
Abomination ran at him, the moment that they started igniting the fight, like he cocked back, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's getting turned to dust. I instantly knew, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's not even gonna know where it hit him, bro.
I want to point out too that Infinity Hulk looks like an ogre.
I mean, he's just
He looks like
bald, really.
yeah. Look, I don't know, but but he was more muscular too and all that stuff, but like more like defined, I guess.
I
But
think it just
he
looks
just
that
looks
way
like
because it
an
was an
ogre.
animation.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But yeah, he's kicking ass. He's kicking ass. He's going to fuck off. You know what I'm trying to say? Zombie Wanda, she's bringing in everything she got, basically everybody. She comes in with the ships, the same ships that we seen from the movies that was like the tour during New Asgard.
Oh, I forgot to
Movie.
bring it up. The ship that they were flying away on with Valkyrie and stuff. That's the
Oh
ship from
yeah,
Ragnarok, bro. That's the it's my birthday. It's my birthday. That was that ship.
that was she comes. So yeah,
The
basically that's what
Grandmasters.
happens. She brings in those ships and stuff like that, and she kind of subdues the Hawk. The Hawk now, Infinity Hawk. He's like a
Yeah,
little hurt now.
he's starting to get wounded. It's
Yeah,
overwhelming.
yeah, exactly. Because he's healing himself. He's healing himself, but the zombies are scratching at him, and Wanda's noticing that. Like he's healing himself at different rates. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. Um, Basically, when he's down, they think he's down. No, he is down actually. The heroes come. Heroes pop out, boom. Now we get the Avengers music, dun, 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 all that other shit, that good shit and stuff like that. And now they go off. They go off. They start kicking ass and all that stuff.
Hmm.
That was a good fight scene. You want to say anything about that fight scene? That was a pretty good. That was
You
a pretty
know,
good
it
fight
was
scene. I
a
like.
really good Avengers fight scene. Definitely was. It wasn't as good as like the action that we see in like episode 2, or
No,
even the action we see in. I won't even say it's kind of
it
on
was better than
par. Like the episode 3 action and the episode 4 action are kind of on par with each other. But I think the
kind of
episode
on par.
2 action was
I give
best.
it. I nudge it. Episode 4 nudges it a little bit because of the Hulk, because Infinity Hulk.
Yeah. Like Infinity Hulk just getting busy the way he was getting busy puts it a little bit over episode 3. So like 2, 4, 3, 1 are the like in action terms best to worst.
Yeah. Wait. What? Best of
Best
one?
to
Say
worst.
what? Is
1 is the least coolest action in the show.
really you think so? Wow, that's crazy.
It was like
I
it was like
think
introduction action, bro. Like the biggest action scene that happens is Icarus and Captain Marvel fighting each other.
I would say though, one is better
It was
than
not better than 3.
three.
No. What the fuck? You got a whole bunch of Asgardians fighting, and then Thor just comes out here and starts lighting shit the fuck up and is clashing with Wanda. That's not cooler than fucking watching Kate Bishop get eviscerated. Like,
But then you had but I feel like one had the blade, the night blade, and the ghost fight. And then even
oh
before
yeah, I be
Ghost died,
forgetting that these episodes are like got a lot going on. Nah,
even
yeah.
before Ghost died,
All
she
right, one
came in.
three.
She
Yeah,
was
you're right. One
yeah,
three.
she
One
killed,
three.
she
You're
killed
right. You're right. I forgot that happened in that episode.
she killed the widows on some shit. Remember when she killed the widows? That was crazy.
Nah, I forgot that happens in episode 1. At the whole North building or whatever it's called. So yeah.
Yeah.
3 is actually the least action episode.
I might say get busy in that one. I don't know. All right, so yeah, but yeah, so episode 4, yeah, like Sink was saying though, yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry, we done went on.
No, we were sitting here talking about the Hulk just getting busy and how cool this fight
You
was
know,
and stuff.
let's say something about that real quick before we. I was disappointed that he didn't do the.
He does. What do you mean?
He did.
He does it like
I gotta
3
watch.
times, bro. It's just happening so fast, and he's got to be on to the next thing. That it just is like it's just part of the choreography at that point. Like, remember, he's literally like constantly swinging and doing things. He's definitely doing all his moves.
I thought he was going like that more so, or like this more so.
No,
I
he
didn't think
definitely was
going.
boofing niggas, bro.
I'm gonna watch
I'm
that. See,
pretty
I gotta watch
sure
that.
I saw that shit a couple times in that fight, bro. He was definitely boofing dudes. And then we get a Ragnarok rematch, too. Thor versus Hulk.
Oh, that was fine. That was fine. And then this time, when he jumped up in the air, though,
it happened
yeah,
the same way, just worse.
this was fine. That
Them
was
dudes
dope.
was going at it, bro. They was throwing them shits in that fight, bro. And then, Kamala Khan distracts Hulk.
You know what we skipped? My fault. We skipped when Shang-Chi and them died too.
That ain't happened yet.
Oh wait, no, that's episode 4. That's the
That
same battle we
happens.
talking about now.
Yeah, that happens after what we're talking about now, because
Yeah. Matter of
it
fact,
literally goes after what I
well,
said. It's because Kamala Khan is out there, fighting, and she's in the vicinity of the Hulk, and she's trying to prevent Wanda from getting to him. And then she
yeah.
looks over at him and smiles, and he has that brief moment of yeah, kid, we're doing this shit. We're doing this shit, kid. We got to save the world. And just that brief moment of hesitation was enough for Wanda to phase over there to him and get her hands on him the way she needed to. And Kamala, your fault. Kamala, it's your fault.
Even before that, Wanda was getting into her mind, like how she was doing in the Multiverse of Madness, and she had sent that red mist, and they started to see people that I think who they were missing or something like that, who they
No,
love.
she had brought in a lot of those motherfuckers as zombies.
Yeah, yep. That was dope.
But
That
she
was
definitely
alluding to
was playing the mind tricks and stuff like that, like she was doing with America Chavez and Multiverse of Madness. But that's what I'm saying, with this movie, there's so many elements from other Marvel MCU projects that are in this movie from other shows. The meat and potatoes of this is you basically took Multiverse of Madness and Infinity War Endgame and just threw them all together. That's basically what they did here, and then just threw other little elements from other things in there, and just a lot of teasers and homages to shit that they've already done, and that's why this works so well. And it made me realize with these kind of things, Marvel really excels, moving forward. I feel like in the big team up stories. Ever since Endgame, Infinity War, that's gonna be their meat and potatoes. Is when they do these team up stories.
And it was cool to see this team up of heroes because, because of the Avenger movies, we always see that certain circle of heroes. This circle of heroes is very, like you said, from this one, that one, over here, over there, over there, and everybody's kind of and the stories are colliding and they're making sense. You're right, they do very well at that. I want to say real quick too. I think they setting up the Young Avengers very well.
Oh yeah, they definitely were doing that throughout this whole thing. And I've been telling people this forever. I was like, yo, the Young Avengers are coming, bro. They've been teasing them and showing us different members over and over again. And they do it they literally start the show. They literally start the show with Young Avengers.
Yeah. And they're showing you who, Kate, Riri, what's his other name? Kamala. You know what I mean? These are the main 3. And then even in this group right here, Kate is she's sort of like the leader who she, even though she died, she's like the leader because we see she's calling out commands and plays in that first episode when they're fighting.
I'm pretty sure she's older than both of them.
Yeah, yep. And she's the leader of the so it said that she's the leader in the Young Avengers. So they're setting it up beautifully. You know what I mean? They're setting it up beautifully.
Yeah, but this team was actually a cool ass team to see.
What happened?
This was actually a cool ass team to see just because if anybody had to sit down and be like, yo, who's gonna be the team of Avengers to deal with the zombie apocalypse, who the fuck was gonna make this list? Of the motherfuckers we saw throughout this, think about the names: Kamala, Riri, Kate, Blade Knight, Yelena, Alexi, Melina. Who else we seen? Zemo, John Walker. Huh?
X-Men.
One more time.
I said Green Oxman. I don't know his
Green
name.
Bull Man, Spider Man,
Yeah.
Shang-Chi and Katie Chen and Jimmy Woo. Like, who the fuck would have
Ant-Man in
put
the
this?
cape.
Who would have put this team together? Ah, floating again.
Yo, he was going to fuck off, yo.
No, but
He
did
was
you
going to
did you
fuck
hear the
off.
side conversation Spider-Man and Ant-Man were having after they like panned away from him because she punched him and he like, don't worry, you get used to it. And then all you hear is Spider-Man and him in the background talking. Not everybody gets used to it and shit like that. They
Yeah,
just
he was
keep
like,
going.
yeah. He was
But
like,
yeah, it's just a cool compilation of heroes because you wouldn't have thought this. But they're probably the most successful new heroes of their last group of like TV shows and stuff they've been doing. If I had to really think about it, because Shang-Chi got good reception. Miss Marvel is probably the best of like the female cast that they have. Actually, I would say Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop are probably the best received of their new female cast that they've been doing. Because people don't really seem to care about Photon, and they really be harping on Captain Marvel. Riri Williams is kind of there, you know, she's kind of getting mixed reviews and stuff like that. But Young Avengers stuff, like we said, so they just did an interesting job piecing this team together.
yeah. So yeah, let's wrap up episode 4. So yeah, episode 4 basically, they start getting peeled off. You know, as we mentioned, she comes in with the red mist. She starts peeling them off. Yes, there is a moment between Kamala Khan and Infinity Hulk where it looks like, okay, yeah, you know, we about to do this shit. And then no, when Wanda Maximoff pops up, their whole aim, their whole goal was to prevent her from touching him, because when she touches him, the transfer of power begins. That's what happens.
Now, do
But
you
then
get
she
why
starts.
she touches Kamala? Do you get it? I get it.
I don't. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let you explain it to myself and the rest of the non-experts. Listen. She touches the Infinity Hulk, and then she looks at Kamala Khan and says like, "Listen, I saw all this." Like, which kind of threw me off because I was like, okay, you know, like bitch could know the future, all right, whatever. So she's like, I saw all this, and I saw you, you know, you here. We gotta do this together. I didn't understand. Singles about to explain why. I understand why she said that, but you know what? I want to say this. It's interesting about these young Avengers that at the end of Ironheart and this one, they have to face like some type of decision that's like that's like detrimental to
Like
like, you know,
making
the
a
the
deal with the
universe.
devil type shit.
Like yeah, yes, almost. And it's like as like Riri, we see Kamala Khan, the Young Avengers, they seem to always fall under the
Well, because they're
fall
always
for it.
given the guise of that you're doing the greater good for the world, or the people that you care
Right.
about. You're doing what's right to protect the people that you care about, and that is going to weigh heavily on people of their age group that are like very much about their circle and the people that are
Right.
close to
And
them.
this for Kamala Khan, it was like, you know, she had said it early herself, like, wow, all my friends are dead, you know, I made y'all follow me.
Yeah,
I
she doesn't
thought
want to
this,
sacrifice anymore.
and she was like, well, it was more so like she was like, I did this and it was all for nothing. She told Shang-Chi, she said it was all for nothing.
But then
And
she
then
remembers what Alexi says: "Until our last breath, we will honor you."
right, but in that moment though, when Wanda was talking to her, she used that. She said, "Don't let it be all for nothing." She used that same thing against her, and then that's when
Well,
she
because
reached out
that's
her hand.
something that also Wanda went through at a point. Remember, she felt like that was a lot of the stuff she was dealing with Vision. When Vision died, she was doing all this stuff, and it all ended up being for nothing, and she lost all the things that was important to her. So she's like probably the perfect person to use these kind of tactics on people. And it was a reoccurring thing for Kamala is that like she was doing this to honor the people that she lost along the way, so this wouldn't be for nothing. So she offered her a way to fix the problem. And what I was gonna say is that people like Riri and Kamala, who are younger, not as old, like somebody like let's say Doctor Strange, they're more likely to be like, I'm not gonna make that kind of sacrifice just to fix the world that I want to see. I'd rather do what's
Yeah.
right in the long term, what I feel like is right, than just doing what I feel like is right for the people that I care about. Where Kamala and Riri are younger people, and they're gonna be like, well, this is what I was doing it for, is to protect the people that I care about, and she's now offering me a way to do that. So she falls
Right.
into that, and what goes on is, remember, she
But yeah, but
touches her.
explain, like, why did they touch?
Yeah, she
Why
touches
did she
her,
touch her?
and think about what Kamala's power is. She takes energy and transfers it into solid. So
Okay.
basically, what she's doing is transferring the energy. She's looking for Kamala to take this energy. She's transferring it from the Hulk to Kamala, so Kamala can hopefully make something out of it, something tangible, almost as if she's making one big conglomerate Infinity Stone that will most likely be in Wanda's possession.
Mm.
She's gonna
And
take
you
all that
think,
energy and create a vessel for that energy, because that's what she does with her powers already. That's why she's like,
and
I
you think,
don't want the transmitter, I want you. It's just like America Chavez. She needed somebody's powers for a particular purpose. In Multiverse of Madness, she needed her powers so she could get brought to a universe where she can be with her kids. She needed Kamala Khan here because in order to fix the universe that she wanted to fix, she needs somebody who can channel that energy into a tangible item that she can now manipulate the energy and do what she wants with it, and use it to help her in reshaping the world how she sees fit, which could be just a world of zombies, or she could literally rewrite the world to be regular, but like she controls it. Kind of like the House of M comic book where she like says no more mutants and then like rewrites the world and she's like in charge of things.
yeah.
Like that's another element that they're kind of sneaking in there, is that's most likely what she's going to end up doing. Because
Well, let's talk about what she did, though. Let's talk about what she did.
well,
And
that's
well,
what I'm like, because
in
it's
this,
not really clear what she did.
well, yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. And honestly, if we don't get a part two, I'll be okay.
Oh yeah,
Um,
totally will be. I totally would be.
I'll be I'll be okay with the way they ended it. But yeah, so they go. So basically, yeah, Kamala Khan touches her, rewrites reality. She wakes up, everything is fine. Her parents is there, son is there. You know what I'm saying? She have a room, everybody's there. Friends are at the door. Riri and Kate Bishop like, hey, let's go. You know, out.
Get
She
some
hugs them.
boba.
Yeah, they did. You know what I'm saying? She hugs them. They confused that. You know, what's all the love for? And you know, there's a scene where they sitting there, they sipping boba and everything. Kate kind of looks off into to her scenery. She's looking at scenery. Now she's watching her scenery. She's seeing that there's distortion between, well, I guess what would be reality and the version
She
she's
in the
living.
Matrix.
And also, yeah, it looks like it. And also, she sees that Riri is now in within that distortion, back to like look at how she was in the beginning before she basically almost died because she didn't die. Um, and she's calling to her. She's calling to her in the same way Jimmy Woo was calling to Wanda in WandaVision. She's like, "Hey, do you hear me, Wanda? Do you?" I mean, she was like, "Kamala, can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And it's going
Which is
back
a
and forth.
nod
And she's
because she's also in a hex, just like Wanda was in her own hex in WandaVision.
Right. And you know what? But it's interesting because if Wanda rewrote the world, then how did Riri escape that? You know, so that's another story
Well,
that would that's another story that would be cool to find out. But again, without a part two, I'm okay. So they ended like that, basically, on a cliffhanger
cliffhanger.
without us knowing whether she's in a distorted world. Well, we kind of know she's in a distorted world, but we just don't know what's the details around it, basically.
So
And they ended like that.
I am gonna go on because you positioned it as if Wanda did reshape the world, and I don't necessarily think that's what happened. I think she now
I
has the
think she's
ability
mad.
to do it. I think she might have the ability to do it. Maybe because we don't know what transpires between the events of her touching the Hulk and touching Kamala and where Kamala wakes up. Um,
Right.
we don't know if Kamala just blinked out because it was too much energy, and she just created like a stone, and Wanda can't quite use it yet, maybe, or hasn't figured out how to trigger it. And
It could be more. It could be definitely. There could be a more, way more story between it. You right?
because I think Wanda ends up putting her in a hex, so she's not a detriment anymore to her. Like kind of like making her think that her world is peaceful, the world's the way she wants it to be, and she's just happy go lucky, living in the world. And while she's out doing that, Wanda's out in the real world, the zombified world, trying to figure out how to work this stone, basically. And Riri obviously is still alive. She's fighting off the horde. She's gotten to Kamala wherever Kamala is, and she's trying to wake her up out the hex, like Jimmy, like you said, or like you referred to earlier from the WandaVision stuff. So I don't think Wanda has yet reshaped the world. I think she's trying to figure out how to harness or use the power to actually do that. But because she's Wanda and because she's been doing evil stuff and she's the Queen of the Dead, another team is going to come together to stop her from doing that.
I can see that. I can see that perspective too, because then I mean that answers how does Riri escape the hex herself. That easily answers it. She's not in the hex.
Yeah,
Only
she's not
person
in the hex. Exactly.
only person in the hex is Kamala Khan. So that would make sense.
And
That makes sense right there.
and whoever else is surviving or whatever it is, because how do I want to put this? Let me think. 2 seconds. When you look at the situation here with Kamala Khan and all this, she is basically going to lead this new group. And I said this in a video a while ago that we did. And I said the thing with the MCU is that they always think they're fixing something, but they always, in the midst of fixing something, cause a bigger boo-boo that leads them into a bigger disaster area. And they could be thinking they're fixing it. And by beating Wanda, you actually are messing it up even more. Because Wanda realistically could. I'm wondering why Wanda would prefer a world of zombies over recreating the world in the way that it used to be, but she's just in charge.
I mean, I think because honestly, to answer that, I think because she is a zombie, and you gotta understand, like I think even though they some of them like the Omega ones, and the regular heroes and stuff, they maintain who they are. They still come under the influence of being a zombie. So I just think her like let's like it's sort of like how you said like earlier, like how you said like she had like a weak like her weakened state because of like her zombie state. It's like so her vision of like what to do is like sort of distorted. Like I feel like in that sense. So that's why we still see like the zombie hordes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Within like outside her hex. Like I guess like what you're trying to say is like she does wants to fix the world, but it's like I say because of that zombie instinct, it's still kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like
That makes
it's
sense.
still gonna.
I can definitely get down with that because if you're just so influenced by the zombie way that you're not thinking like a regular person, that you're like, hey, we might as well spread. We might as well just go out there and make the rest of the universe like this. And honestly, with Kamala, like once they snap her out of the hex, it's gonna be right back on because Riri, as we see, is alive, which means she's figured out a way to at least prevent the spread of the zombie virus, if not reverse it already.
Yeah,
So
because we don't know what happened, honestly, because we don't know if it stopped or we don't know if she momentarily became a zombie for like I don't know, like a minute or a day, and then it went away. Like we don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's going to
So
be a season two, and it's just because they hinted at two different areas where you can cease the zombie spread. Actually three areas. One is the heroes and the super soldiers all react to it slower than most people do.
that's
Then you
true. Yep.
have Shang-Chi with the ring that stopped the spread. And then
Yep.
you have Riri Williams who has a serum that prevented her from turning into a zombie.
That's true.
So
Yep. Yeah.
I
That's
think they're definitely going to revisit it because they tease too much of scenarios where you can stop or prevent the zombie apocalypse. So I think in this storyline we're going to get an end game. But like I said, them fixing something always just leads to a bigger issue.
right. Cause, and I think part of the their solution is actually going to be off world, something off world, and they're probably gonna run into that Nova Corps problem again. They're probably it's probably gonna go further than that. Like like they might like the next. I can see season 2 kind of entering the universe. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like kind of spread it.
if it's contained at this moment, and Wanda is still at the power level she's at, like why hasn't she just wiped out the Nova Corps already?
Well, I can see that. Well, that's what I mean. We didn't get enough episodes for that. Now, like, so imagine, like, let's take what you said, right? Kamala's in this hex. Wanda's learning because we know they have the ability to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because they stated that. So that's just assume she learns.
I think
You know
we're
what I'm
just
trying to
at,
say? And it's crazy.
I think we're
And
just gonna
she
stay contained on Earth. I think this is gonna be a story about it being contained on Earth and the heroes figuring it out before it's too late. They've already failed. We've already watched the failure.
yeah, that's
So
true.
what we're gonna get is the succession, most likely afterwards. And the Nova. That's what I'm saying. If she was really gonna blast the Nova Corps, she would have done that already because she's pretty well off, way well off.
Space though, that's the thing. Can zombie Wanda
Wanda,
survive in space?
Wanda, do whatever the fuck she want to do. Like
Wanda can
that's
survive in
literally
space,
a
right?
character that just does what she fucking wants to do. Like, yeah, like space, gravity, air. What? I don't need any of those things if I really don't want it. But yeah. So I think it's gonna be contained on Earth because if she wanted to, I'm pretty sure she could have wiped this whole thing out because she's been a zombie one of the longest, and she was already learning her powers in the What Ifs episode. Never mind 5, 6, 7 years later that we're in now and all this nonsense. But she could have wiped the Nova Corps away. She's not interested in wiping the Nova Corps away, or she's not strong enough and she has to learn how to use the power that she just got through Kamala Khan and the Hulk to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
To
saying.
go
Like
back to
she's
me saying that she needs the power that the Infinity Stones had to recreate the Earth anyways, which I think is going to tie into the storyline for Secret Wars and Doomsday. Because I feel like that's going to be stuff that ties in is that the Infinity Stones powers, Wanda, Strange, and Doom are going to have to come together to reshape the universe and stuff like that. So they're basically teasing us with like alternate universe versions of what we're about to see.
right. Right. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, either way it swings, I think it's great. You know what I mean? Even if they, I just said this already. Even if they choose not to continue to go with the story, the cliffhanger was a great one. Honestly, it's a great one, and it allows you to like have discussions like this to like what's going on, what might have happened, and what what blah blah blah, what if big play on Marvel and and they what if theme. Like the what if thing in this whole MCU is real good, honestly. Like they even kept that theme like at the end of this, I feel like. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because
that's
like
pretty
how I
good.
kept saying there were parallels is basically just a bunch of what if this scenario was zombified all over and over and over and over and over. That's basically what we got the whole time.
Right, yeah.
If this scenario
Like what
happened
if
but zombified,
what if Endgame happened with zombies?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
basically.
Um,
Like,
Kevin Feige and company, good ass fucking job here. Good ass fucking job. Ratings times. You want to start or should I go first?
you can drop yours. Good.
8.5 out of 10. That's where I'll give
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Pacing great, story intriguing, captivating. The horror aspects were rocking. The murder, I loved it. Like I don't even know what to say is bad about this. I don't think there's anything bad about this. So
Let's do something here. Let's do something here real quick. Make it a 10.
make it a 10.
Make it a 10. Like name one thing they could have did and make it a 10. Or just make it or give it a higher rating. Like what would have gave it a higher rating?
I'm trying to think what they could have
Like
did that would have actually like made this super
it could
fire
be
for me.
anything. It could be like the inclusion of a character. Maybe a story would have went left instead of going right. I did that opposite, but
That's an interesting question because I'm really trying to think what they could have added that would have made me like go wow even more. But I feel like anything I say wouldn't really boost the rating. They would have, because me predicting it and it happening doesn't really like, or wishing it happened and it happened doesn't really like add to it. It would have had to blow my mind and be like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. And they already just did a whole bunch of oh shit, I wasn't expecting it. So maybe What would have been really fire to see? Maybe if they
I know
had
one
like
thing.
another universe come and try to also prevent this for some reason, like some other universe is just getting involved, like hey, like kind of like the Illuminati or something shit like that, and they just got wiped away. That would have probably gave them like a half a point or something like that, but like it would
Yeah,
have.
yeah, I could see that. That would have been dope. That would have been dope. I'm gonna go ahead and give it my rating. My rating is like 8.5 too as well. 8.5, like 8 points. Like if I was to go higher, like 8.7, closer to 9. Around there, around that range. Um, I thought it was great. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was written, beautifully and shit like that. I think the story was good pace. I love the action. Um, I don't see anything wrong with like how with in the direction the story went. Everything about it. I could say to answer my own question. To if I was to make it better, I only thing I would say is my whole thing with these in like cartoons like this, and this is just my bias. I'm always I always want to see a lot of characters, like and like and even if they're like playing B or C roles,
I'm about to
like
beat the fuck
even
out this nigga. He's about to tell me there wasn't enough characters.
no, 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 no. No, no. I mean, like, well, like, well, nigga, you just said another galaxy, so that's more characters right
Yeah,
there
but I
too.
didn't even really want to. Remember, I was trying to avoid answering the
I
question.
mean, like, well, no, no. I mean, like, but that's why I'm like, let me explain. That's why I said like even like B or C roles, like, so it's like when I see like cartoons and they have like sometimes like main characters like just in the back on the phone or some shit like that, like just doing nothing. Like I like stuff like that. Like I mean, I thought that was cool. So it would have just been cool. Like even like in the beginning, how you said like, oh, you was looking for like Bucky, and we thought we seen him in the fight against Infinity Hulk. That's cool. I would have said like fucking just like just more like characters like that, like oh, like to point out would have been like dope, like, and there's probably are more characters in there that I haven't like pressed pause on the scene yet to like actually see, like, you know what I mean, so
I
just
got
like
one.
shit like that.
I got one. I don't think it would have. This is another one I don't think would have boosted the score much, maybe to a 9. But imagine if every episode had a different narrator. Like one episode was narrated by Luis from Ant-Man, and then
Mm.
another episode was narrated, and it's got to be like
Yeah,
like
that-
kooky B characters, like how you said. And like another episode was narrated by Madison with a Y, but it's not where you think it is. Like
I would have enjoyed that. I would have like
maybe
heavily
like the
enjoyed that.
maybe like one of the last 2 episodes being narrated by Agatha.
That would have been fire. Yep, yeah. Agatha doing that last episode would have been good, would dope, honestly. Because that was more about the like taking back the like changing the reality and like the
Yeah,
powers.
because
So that
like
would have been dope.
Luis would have been a good narrator to open up. Like not even to say they had to narrate the whole episode, but like just the opening of the episode. Because like Luis
Right,
is
yeah.
in San Francisco with Ant-Man, so like it would have made sense for him to be in episode 2.
That would have been, yeah, exactly.
Madison with the
So,
Y, because she's connected to Wong, she easily could have been connected to the episode where they popped up in Kamertage when everybody popped up
that would
there.
have been, see,
Um,
yeah, stuff like that. Stuff like that would have like just been dope. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
episode
but
3
like
could have been
honestly,
multiple characters: Loki,
I
Agatha,
feel
or
like
Odin. Like imagine that.
right. But I
Or
feel like just like
oh my god, episode 3 by Korg.
oh, yo, that would have been crazy.
My poor buddy
That would have
Thor.
been fun.
My poor buddy Thor
Yeah.
licking his wounds after defeat.
Like him in the hall of with the guards, yeah, that would have been dope. See, but that's what I mean. I also feel like you though, like it doesn't necessarily have to change the rating, but this would have been some exciting stuff to see.
Like
Like, you
so
know
to
what I
go
mean?
with the question that you asked, and not my response as an answer, but like my response to it is like to look at some things and be like, what could have made it a 10 is a viable question, but it's not really viable to everything that you would ask it about. And like this is one of those things that I feel like Marvel Zombies probably never, like there's probably no way for them to make this a 10 out of 10 where it's like everybody's talking about it. Like I'm be telling people about this 5 years from now and shit like that. Like, I don't think this is something that could have ever reached a 10 out of 10.
Unless it was made with everybody's ideas and made to be like a 7-hour movie.
And at that point, I probably wouldn't be calling it a 10 out of 10 because it'd be too fucking long. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
well,
something would have held it back. Like, you having to include everybody, too much time now. Way too much. This was 4 fucking episodes. This was like 2. This is literally the length of a movie.
Now it was really good, and it was great because I didn't expect it to be like everyone like to be, sometimes it's like 25, 28. Everything was like 30, 31. I mean, it was so like so much. I mean, of course, besides the credits, you get like only like 28 solid minutes of action, but that 28 minutes solid minutes, like it was very important. Like they packed it with like enough stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I'm trying to say like anything more would have probably been too much, but just speaking as a fan, we have these things that, we would like to see.
It's
That's
almost
it.
like, you get some pasta and you sprinkle it on your Parmesan cheese and you get to that good time, like that good amount of Parmesan cheese on the pasta, and you just keep getting more. Now you just keep putting up more up there. Like the pasta don't taste better. You just put more Parmesan cheese on that motherfucker, bro. Like,
that's enough cheese.
yeah. So like this is kind of what I feel about this. Is like this was as perfect as it gets, and doing anything more just is like putting more Parmesan cheese on the pasta after you already reached a good amount, bro. You just doing more shit just for the fact of doing more shit, just because you can.
Yeah. That was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Because like,
so yeah.
Let me say this real quick. My way of looking at this is like when you put a movie as a 9 or you put a movie as a 10, like you got to think about how fucking stellar that shit gotta be to be in the 9 and the 10 range, bro. Like to be a 10 is like, fuck.
You know what? It probably would have been a 9 or a 10 if episode 3 was a little more turned up.
Like I said, I don't think there was anything they could have did to like get a higher grade out of me. Honestly, like it could have been more turned up, and I just would have been like, "Yo, there was more death, and I liked it." like think about it.
Yeah.
There was so much death. More death doesn't make it better.
Honestly, yeah, you're right about that.
Like
yeah.
maybe if there was like some crazy ass reveal of a new character.
This is why I was saying about like just having stuff. Now it like this is why what I said didn't mention any action or any like of the goriness. It's like basically now at this point you just added stuff in the back. So you mentioned Korg. Maybe it would have just been fire seeing Korg heads on a stick or some shit outside. Because maybe
I
we
don't
don't know
think they
what
can
happened.
turn Korg into a zombie. I don't think that's possible.
Well, no, I'm just saying his head, like just his talking head, like on like just outside, like on the
Okay, got
like anything, like just seeing
that would
little
have been
stuff
funny.
like that.
That would have been funny if they were narrating from Korg's perspective, but he was a head on a stick the whole time, bro. Oh, that would have kind of been funny. Like, how do you even know all this happened, bro? Like, you're on a stick.
Who I like to see in this, who I want to see, this is a little bit off topic, but I want to see, Ghost Rider versus Wanda Maximoff.
So that's what I was gonna sit there and kind of say. It wasn't gonna be exactly that, but I was like, the only thing that I can actually think of now that we've kind of like held this conversation for like 10 minutes is they would have had to drop like a crazy character reveal, like a brand new character. Like, what was Home Chick's name? Katara or something like that? Kotori. And What If they would have had to do something crazy like that out of nowhere, where it was a brand new character that is like brand new to Marvel Zombies, or they would have had to release a new character to the scene that we haven't seen yet in the MCU. Like it would have.
Yeah, I think Rider and the Marvel Zombies would have been crazy. Would have been fire.
And like, don't be surprised if we see it. Oh my God, we didn't even mention this real quick. Let me squeeze this in. When Thor was over there fighting as a zombie, and Blade thought he was about to do something, and he just got turned to dust.
No, he did that without like doing anything.
He just put his hand to the left, and a beam of lightning just came down and boofed that boy.
That shit was crazy. I was like, yo, who the fuck are you? I
He
was
didn't
like,
even look
oh.
at him. Didn't even give the time of day to look over at him. He just put his hand out. Beam came down and said, "Peace out, Blade Knight."
That last moment when so basically it was Blade, it was Skeleton, and then when it was nothing, it was Kanju. I don't know if you noticed that as he was blowing
I
up.
doubt he killed Khonshu though.
I don't think he killed Kanju, but obviously that was Kanju escaping.
Probably, yeah, yeah. He was like, Blade, you've been doing a lot of cool shit. I've been seeing you from the eye in the sky, but that stops here.
But then again, though, that is God versus God. So who says he can't kill him?
God versus the vessel of a god, not a god. Don't get that
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he is
misconstrued.
just,
Thor is a
just
god. Blade
yeah.
Knight is just a man wielding the powers of a god.
He's a vampire
Wielding
wielding
the
the
powers of a god. I wonder if that makes him better than actual Moon Knight. I would
Shit,
assume
the way
so,
he was
right?
fighting, yeah, the way he was fighting this, yeah, I think so. Because all
Well,
right, so
that's
yeah, here's
literally
another
just
thing.
Blade fighting ability right there with Khonshu's like foreshadowing ability. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say. I was about to say. Well, let's get into that because that fighting scene is kind of fire because he starts off with the white, and then as he's fighting, as he's dodging her moves, boom, 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 boom,
When
boom,
the cape
he
was
he
disappearing to like make him
it's the
be able to
black.
move better.
He goes into his black blade suit.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you
if you
noticed.
even pay attention, like the cape moves for like it just comes and goes as it pleases when he's fighting.
Oh yeah, the cake. Oh yeah, the cake was out. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
like
yep, 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 yep.
when he's in positions where he needs to be like moving his arms and like being accurate with his sword swings, the cape is gone. But when he needs it to like, distract enemies or something like that, the cape comes back and is flapping in people's
Come back.
faces and shit
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Like, boy,
yeah,
nah.
yeah. Nah,
But that's how the Moon
Blade,
Knight suit works. Like not even blade wise. Like that's just how the Moon Knight suit works. It doesn't be doing shit. Like
yeah, you know
it's
what?
like
I ain't gonna
Spawn.
lie. I, I'm changing my favorite character from the beginning of the movies. I'm changing it to Blade with the second day Death Dealer, cause cause Blade was a little
That's
iller
why I
than
was
he
like,
was.
you got Death Dealer? Like what?
Yeah, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna front. That scene where he was protecting Wu was really fire, and that kind of like it stuck with me. That's why I was like, he had the little knife, he was going crazy, like that nigga was going wild with it. I was like, nah, this nigga Death Dealer crazy. But then I think about it, nah, Blade Knight was
My
definitely
boy Jimmy
he was a
Woo
little.
had a Star Lord moment, bro. When he couldn't control himself, like when Thanos was telling him that he killed a Gamora and he couldn't control himself, and that's why he's rest in peace now. Well, I mean, he was gonna die regardless because that was a room full of Asgardian zombies. Like he wasn't getting out of that. Like
Oh, no, yeah, I was like, how did he last that
I'm
long? That was
surprised
crazy,
Katie
but
Chen made it out of that. So I will say this: the end made me. At first, I thought it was like a "did this even happen" type of moment. Like, was this like a figment of her imagination, or was like she like bouncing between two universes or something like that? But because I had a whole list, I was keeping a whole list of everybody who was dying in my phone, like one by one, and I wasn't counting people who were already zombies when this started. Like I counted Alexi because he turned into a zombie while we were watching. But like Hawkeye, I ain't count him. And I got to the end and I'm like, should I even keep this list? Like, I don't even know if this is like actual reality. Like, I might come back for season 2, and then they're like, yeah, none of that even happened. Like, none of that even fucking happened, bro.
end of it, right? I mean, that is
Like,
it
what if
is
she saw
strange
the
because
future? What if she just saw the future and that's it?
the Red Mist came. We didn't really see Katie Chen die. We just see her like I guess they just get her and Shang Chi kind of just get overpowered. I believe. Or does Shang Chi die?
I think he gets turned into a zombie or something like that. Like, I don't remember what happened to him.
Okay. Well, I feel like for some of them we didn't really we didn't
They
see all of
implied
them.
death for everybody in that group, though.
Yeah, right. Like it kind of implies. So, I think yeah, yeah. I don't know. I can't answer that whether it was reality or like what I'm saying whether it happened. I can say that I had that question in my head at the end, of course, when Riri showed back up, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know what just happened now. Like, did like you know what I mean? I don't know what the hell's going on. So, but I guess we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think when they come back, no matter what they do with it, if they want whatever decisions they make, I'm gonna be locked in once they give us that decision. When we find out whatever the hell is going on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, nah, definitely,
I'm
definitely,
pretty sure they're
definitely.
coming back with a season 2. I'm like 95% sure on that one.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't because it's a it's a great
I
fucking
think they just
story for
lined up enough for there to be a season 2. Like, and this is not something that's getting like shit on the internet. So they're gonna run
the
with
only
that.
thing I don't want it to become is like the second season of What If, where like the first season was sort of like, we could see where in the timeline these things were from, and then the second season was heavily based on what happened in the first timeline. So it was all like kind of new-ish, and it was, I mean, for me personally, it was kind of corny. A lot of it was. So I just hope that Zombies is not like that, where like it takes on this new timeline where this new zombie timeline, and I just basically what I'm saying is don't fuck it up, Marvel. That's what I'm saying.
I think Mo is one of the only people who has that sentiment about what if. So the
Yeah,
rest
the
of
what if
y'all just know
too
I don't
much.
feel that way.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling too
What
much.
I
It wasn't wowing to me. It was okay. I mean, it was
what
alright.
I felt about what ifs is that I got tired of them dragging out Captain Carter's story. I
Oh my
felt like they
god,
should
that
have.
was
I felt like after season 2 they should have maybe not moved on for Captain Carter, but like did more with like tried to just escape her in a different way than what they did. I wasn't really feeling
imagine if
her ending.
a person from another galaxy would have been Captain Carter. I would have died.
I ain't gonna lie though, I would have erupted. You got like, yo, bro, oh, it's
It would have
Captain
been crazy.
Carter.
Yeah, no, it would have been crazy in the
But she's been
moment,
in
but
this
like,
universe already.
yes, yeah, you're
But
right,
this is that
right, yeah.
wouldn't be the first time she's visited a universe twice because she definitely visited. Didn't they? Wait, was she there or was that just an episode? There was another episode in Party Thor's universe. Remember that? But I don't think Captain Carter was there for that. I think it was just a random story.
She was. No, she wasn't there.
Yeah, I think it was just a
Oh yeah,
random story that
right.
another character got brought from that universe to
Yo,
wherever
Party
Captain.
Thor,
No, it wasn't Party Thor.
was it?
No, I don't. I don't think
No.
it was Party Thor. But I know that storyline, that timeline came back up. But that's the only thing I wouldn't want to see with What If. What if they do a season 2, that should be it. Like they should just wrap up the story here. And like I said, treat it like an Infinity War and Endgame type of scenario where like you have your story of failure and then you have your story of resilience and triumph there and call it a day. However you want to end it. If you want to end it with a loss, do that where the zombies are just zombies and that's what that universe is. Fuck it. If you want to end it
Yeah.
with a really cool dub for the heroes where they either like I could see them doing the same thing they do in Secret Wars, where they're gonna like do a battle world type of thing and then do a reboot to the universe. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that at the end of Marvel Zombies if they do a season 2, where they just end it and reset the universe and everything kind of just starts from the beginning again, and hopefully it doesn't go down this path.
Yeah,
Because
I can
I
see
I
that.
can see them mirroring what they're gonna do with Doomsday and Secret Wars in Marvel Zombies,
That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
kind of like a
I would like.
greatest hits version.
I would like that honestly. If they left this alone and then they kind of like not left it alone, but like they skipped on to the years and then we kind of caught up to where like Doom and them is at. Then we get that version of Marvel Zombies, but they kind of connected with what
They don't
happened
gotta
back
jump
then.
too far. Like, think about it. Like, if you really go by the timeline is kind of keeping up with us now. Like, they would only have to like show us things for like a 4 or 5 year span, and you see how fast they handled a 4 or 5 year span in the first season.
That's what I mean. I would love that. I would love that. I would think I would
So,
like to see that.
and
I
it
think
would be a
that's
cool thing if Marvel just said, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna reset our animated timeline along with our live action timeline, but it doesn't erase the timeline. It's just us restarting in a new universe or something like that. So it doesn't erase what's happened, but it just starts anew with whatever they keep.
that'd be cool. I could see that. If it, I think that'd be dope because we'll get more different characters within the zombie because it's a different time, so we might get say like some zombie mutants Like you know what I mean? Like that little
It
change
would be
there.
a
Like we
clean
might.
way to go ahead and like implement whatever's in the animated universe as like a universe in the multiverse if they ever wanted to explore that. Where like the animated universe is just a multiverse of what's going on in the movies.
That'd be fire. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like
Yep.
what
Yep.
DC's
Yep.
doing, but like not one universe because DC's doing it where like their animated stuff is one timeline with the live action stuff, where like Superman, Peacemaker, Creature Commandos all happens in the same universe. Where Marvel should do it as like these are separate universes. Like the animated world is like MCU, AU, animated
Yeah. But
universe, and
happening at the same time though.
yeah, yeah, and they can cross if they need to, but like we're not trying to branch out into like Fox and all that other stuff because now we've blended all that into one live action universe.
Right. So it's like in this universe, Endgame. In this universe, at the same time, Endgame,
But it's Marvel
zombies on it.
Zombies. Yeah, that's what happened in this universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I like that. I
and then we
like
get a
that. So if we
reboot,
put
and the reboot would be things like X-Men 97, Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, whatever other animated stuff they want to do. Like maybe even Eyes of Wakanda if they want to spin that in there somehow, which I still gotta watch. But yeah.
what's that? What's
Eyes of
that? What's that?
Wakanda.
I haven't watched that yet. I gotta
I'm
watch
about
that.
to say,
I
you
gotta watch
haven't heard of this? Like, where have you been?
I just didn't watch it yet. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
So I gotta
so.
watch it.
But that is episode 29. That is Marvel Zombies from your boys N.E.O, the pod.
Non-experts.
You already
That was a good
know.
one.
Like, subscribe, tell us your thoughts on it, and tell us what else you guys are watching. Tell us what you think about what we just talked about. Give us recommendations, man. The more we have, the more content we can put out for you guys.
What is your non-expert opinion? That is what we want to know. We want to know your non-expert opinion. Drop it on us. Let us know. Blak and Cinco. That's been episode 29, y'all. We out of here to the next time.
To the next episode.
Peace.